The birth of Western philosophy. Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle explained. Have you ever looked around and wondered about the very nature of existence? What is real? What is truth? What constitutes a good life? These fundamental questions, burning within the human spirit, ignited the spark of Western philosophy, and three ancient Greek thinkers stand as its towering figures. Reason and understand the world even today. Welcome to Ancient Wisdom. Here we embark on a journey through the corridors of time, exploring the timeless ideas that have shaped civilizations and continue to resonate with us in the 21st century. We delve into the minds of giants, extracting wisdom from the past to illuminate the present. In this video, we're delving into the very genesis of Western philosophical thought, focusing on the interconnected yet distinct contributions of three legendary figures: Socrates, the enigmatic questioner; Plato, the philosopher of ideals; and Aristotle, the master of observation. These intellectual titans didn't just ask questions. They forged the very tools with which we explore reality, shaping our understanding of ethics, politics, science, and the human condition itself. Who were these individuals? What were their groundbreaking, often revolutionary ideas? And how did their philosophies ripple through the ages, shaping the way we live, govern ourselves, and perceive the universe? Let's embark on this intellectual adventure and find out. Socrates, the father of Western philosophy. Socrates, often hailed as the father of Western philosophy, occupies a unique position in the history of thought. He was a pivotal figure, yet he left no written works of his own. Our understanding of Socrates comes primarily from the writings of his students, particularly Plato, and the accounts of other contemporaries. He was a man of the streets, engaging in dialogues and debates with anyone willing to engage, from prominent citizens to humble artisans. His focus was primarily on ethical questions. What is justice? What is piety? What is the good life? He wasn't interested in abstract cosmological speculations. He was concerned with the practicalities of living a virtuous life. Unlike many philosophers before him, Socrates didn't construct elaborate metaphysical systems. His method was far more direct, more personal. He believed that wisdom resided within each individual, waiting to be unearthed through rigorous self-examination. He saw himself as a midwife of thought, helping others to give birth to their own understanding. One of Socrates' greatest and most enduring contributions was the Socratic Method, a powerful technique of questioning, also known as elenchus, designed to expose contradictions in thought and refine understanding. It wasn't about imparting knowledge. It was about stimulating critical thinking. Imagine a teacher asking, "What is justice?" A student replies, "Fairness." The teacher then challenges, "But is fairness always just?" What about a situation where fairness might lead to an unjust outcome? Through relentless questioning, Socrates forced people to examine their assumptions, to defend their beliefs, and ultimately to arrive at a deeper, more nuanced understanding of the concepts they were discussing. This method is still used today in education, law, debates, and even in therapeutic settings, a testament to its enduring power. The trial and death of Socrates. Socrates' relentless questioning and his unwavering pursuit of truth, however, weren't always appreciated. His critiques of Athenian society, his challenges to conventional wisdom, and his probing examination of established beliefs earned him powerful enemies. He was accused of corrupting the youth of Athens and impiety, or disrespecting the traditional gods of the city-state. These charges, likely motivated by political animosity, led to his trial and subsequent condemnation. Found guilty in a highly controversial trial, Socrates was sentenced to death by drinking poison hemlock. His acceptance of this fate is perhaps one of the most poignant moments in philosophical history. He chose death rather than renounce his pursuit of truth and his commitment to questioning. His final words, as recorded by Plato, were, "Crito, we owe a cock to Asclepius. Pay it and do not neglect it." Asclepius was the Greek god of healing, and this seemingly cryptic statement has been interpreted in various ways. Some see it as a final philosophical reflection on the nature of life and death, while others see it as a simple practical request. Even in death, Socrates remained devoted to the principles that guided his life: reason, inquiry, and the pursuit of wisdom. Plato, the philosopher of idealism. Socrates' death had a profound impact on his student Plato. Deeply affected by the injustice of his mentor's execution, Plato dedicated his life to preserving and expanding upon Socrates' teachings. Unlike Socrates, Plato was a prolific writer, and his dialogues, featuring Socrates as the main character, are among the most important and influential works in Western philosophy. These dialogues, ranging in topic from ethics and politics to metaphysics and epistemology, are not merely records of Socrates' teachings. They are also brilliant explorations of philosophical ideas in their own right. The allegory of the cave. One of Plato's most famous and enduring contributions to philosophy is the allegory of the cave, a powerful metaphor for the nature of reality and knowledge. Imagine a group of prisoners chained in a dark cave, facing a wall. They have never seen the world outside the cave. All they know are the shadows projected on the wall by objects passing behind them. These shadows are their reality. They believe that what they see is all there is. Now, imagine one of the prisoners escapes. At first, the bright sunlight outside the cave blinds him, and he is confused. But gradually, he adjusts to the light and begins to see the world as it truly is. He realizes that the shadows he had, mistaken for reality, were merely pale reflections of the true forms that exist in the world outside. If he were to return to the cave and try to explain his experience to the other prisoners, they would likely ridicule him, perhaps even try to harm him, clinging to the familiar comfort of their illusions. Plato used this allegory to illustrate his theory of forms. He argued that the physical world we perceive with our senses is merely a shadow of a higher, more real realm of forms, which are eternal, unchanging, and perfect. These forms are the true objects of knowledge. For example, there are many different examples of beauty in the world, but they are all imperfect reflections of the form of beauty, which exists in the realm of forms. True knowledge, according to Plato, comes from understanding these forms, not just the shadows we perceive in the physical world. Aristotle, the philosopher of observation. Plato's most famous student was Aristotle, a philosopher whose intellectual reach extended across a vast range of disciplines, from logic and ethics to politics, physics, and biology. While Aristotle admired Plato, he diverged from his mentor's theory of forms. Aristotle was more empirically minded, believing that true knowledge comes from studying the physical world around us, not from contemplating a separate realm of forms. He emphasized observation, classification, and systematic analysis as the keys to understanding the universe. Aristotle's contributions to science and ethics. Aristotle's contributions to science and philosophy are immense. He developed a system of logic that remained influential for centuries, laying the groundwork for formal reasoning. He made significant contributions to biology, classifying plants and animals and conducting detailed studies of their anatomy and physiology. He believed that everything in nature has a purpose, a telos, and that understanding this purpose is essential to understanding the thing itself. In ethics, Aristotle developed the concept of the golden mean, the idea that virtue lies between two extremes. For example, courage is the mean between recklessness and cowardice. Generosity is the mean between extravagance and stinginess. Living a virtuous life, according to Aristotle, involves finding the balance between these extremes. He also explored the nature of happiness, arguing that it is not simply pleasure or wealth, but rather a state of flourishing, or eudaimonia, achieved through living a virtuous life and fulfilling one's potential. Their enduring legacy, the intellectual legacy of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, is immeasurable. From Socrates' relentless questioning, which encourages critical thinking to this day, to Plato's exploration of the nature of reality and the pursuit of ideal forms, and Aristotle's emphasis on observation and systematic inquiry, their ideas continue to shape our world. The Socratic method is still used in classrooms and legal settings. Plato's political theories, particularly his ideas about justice and the ideal state, continue to be debated by political philosophers. Aristotle's logic forms the foundation of scientific reasoning. So, the next time you find yourself questioning an idea, seeking knowledge, or trying to understand the world around you, remember that you are walking in the intellectual footsteps of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Their quest for wisdom, their commitment to reason, and their relentless pursuit of truth continue to inspire us centuries later. In future videos, we will delve deeper into the specific contributions of each of these.